So a few days ago, I checked out WTF, or Waifu Tactical Force. And yes, that is the actual name. At this point, I'm convinced the developers came up with the title first and then built the game afterwards. For those unfamiliar, Waifu Tactical Force is an anime-style shooter that mixes fast-paced movement, wall running, PvP, PvE content, apparently base management, as well as like mechs, and a huge roster of anime characters that know exactly what kind of game they're in. On paper, it's actually a pretty interesting package. The art direction is great, the artwork is nice, the character designs are very appealing, and the overall presentation is far more polished than I ever expected. Like, the game doesn't even come out till 2027. Like, even the guns felt surprisingly good. When I first jumped into the shooting range, they have like pretty good weight to them. The recoil control is very negligible, kind of, right? They sound good, and landing shots feels super satisfying. My first impression of the actual gameplay, however, was significantly less positive. When I initially tried the playtest, I got absolutely destroyed. Like, you'll see in the background, my first game. The combination of a super high time to kill combat with extreme movement mechanics, it felt super overwhelming. Players were like wall running, they were slide canceling, flying around corners, jumping up and down, because there's double jump and stuff like that, right? They're moving like they had spent like the last several months preparing for the anime Olympics while I was still learning the controls. At first, I assumed I was simply just having a bad game and or I'm just nunk. Every multiplayer shooter has a learning curve, and sometimes you just end up in a lobby where everyone is better than you. After that, I played another match. I realized something important though. I wasn't struggling because I didn't understand the game. I was struggling because the game is genuinely hard. Like, to be clear, this isn't me saying like the mechanics are bad. In fact, I think the movement system is one of the game's like strongest features. Like, the wall running feels smooth, albeit sometimes you do get stuck in the wall and you can't get out of it. Like, even if you stop holding W, you're still like jumping up and down on the wall. It's in early access. It's a playtest. Game doesn't even come out for another year. It's a bug. That's fine, whatever. Like, the wall running, it feels smooth when it works. Movement options are very plentiful, and skilled players can do some super impressive things. The problem is that all of these systems combine to create like a super incredibly demanding experience for newer players or a casual player like me. Like, once I spent a little more time with the game, I did start adapting a little bit. My aim, quote unquote, improved. You'll see in the gameplay, like, my God, it's terrible. I learned how players like move through the maps. Like, it got a little bit more comfortable, like tracking targets and taking fights, but the experience became much more enjoyable compared to the first match I played, which is yay, but I didn't hate the game as much. That said, I still think this game is way too sweaty. It is sweaty as all hell. Like, after becoming even comfortable like with the mechanics themselves, every match felt insanely competitive. There are games where you can log on after work, you can turn your brain off for a bit and casually just like enjoy yourself. This is not one of those games. Every single engagement demands your full attention. Every single fight, it feels like it's a test of your tracking aim, your movement mastery, your positioning, your reaction speed, like how much Adderall you like snorted as like a line of whatever. I don't do drugs, I don't know. If you're the type of player who loves highly mechanical shooters, like, you enjoy constantly improving, you'll probably have a great time here. If you're a casual player, your experience may vary. Like, I am a casual player, and that's where like my biggest concern where the game comes from. I don't actually think the movement is the problem in the game. I don't think the gunplay is the problem. I don't even think the skill ceiling is a problem. Games should be allowed to have high skill ceiling. The problem, I think, is onboarding. And of course, this was a playtest. There was literally only one game mode available, and the PvE mode was not available. Like, the other game modes weren't available. There's not even like the mech thingamajiggy or whatever. That's not in the game, but this is just feedback for like the player onboarding from my experience of the playtest, okay? Waifu Tactical Force, so WTF, it desperately needs better onboarding systems, because right now it feels like new players are being thrown directly into the deep end and expected to figure everything out while they're being shot at by people who already understand every single movement mechanic in the game. Like, it could be that they still don't have skill-based matchmaking. That could be the case. And I know there's some people that are like, oh, skill-based matchmaking shouldn't exist. Yeah, for some games, this game definitely needs it, man. A game this mechanically demanding needs tutorials to go beyond basic control. It needs ways to teach movement technique. It needs opportunities for players to practice against opponents without like getting farmed, if that makes sense. It needs systems that help players understand why they're losing instead of simply making them feel like they're getting absolutely obliterated. I got obliterated, man, because there's this one thing. Once I played it more, I started to see the appeal of the game. I can absolutely understand why some people are going to love this game, but you know, most anime players or like anime enjoyers, they're going to look at this game for the anime aesthetics and try the game out. They're not going to be esports gods at the game, man. But if they do the PvE mode, sure, they might have fun. Like the movement is great, the gunplay is satisfying. There's clearly a lot of depth here, but I can also see a future where a lot of curious players, they're going to download the game, try out the PvP, get absolutely steamrolled for a few hours, and then they just never come back. That's the challenge facing WTF moving forward, I believe. That's what I think. Your opinion may differ. For a game that, you know, it promotes like AAA netcode with regional dedicated servers, and it says that it's optimized for like 60 FPS on low spec devices like a GTX 1000 series and like the Steam Deck. It's supposed to be like 60 plus FPS. There's no FOMO battle pass, which is great. Like they have a, you know, PR marketing budget of a toaster, I think, but on paper it sounds really, really good. On paper though, this game just needs to become a little bit easier. I think it needs to become better at teaching players how to play it. Maybe early access will address some of these concerns, I hope. Maybe additional modes will help ease players into the experience. Maybe like the player population will naturally spread out as more people join. But I think this game is going to be extremely, extremely niche, because like hyper competitive games, either they make it or they break it. And the games that make it are super successful. Look at Valorant, look at Siege. That's about it. That's it. That's the only two like hero shooters that are like successful. Is Waifu Tactical Force even gonna be a hero shooter? Because like you pick a waifu, right? But they don't come with abilities. You don't even get to see them really. But maybe in the full game, we will get to see the characters and we will be able to customize them. Because it is a first person shooter, we need emotes or something so we can see the characters. That is one more feedback for y'all. Add some emotes or like a third person camera mode or something, please. I want to be able to see my waifu, okay? But I hope genuinely that this game is successful, because it clearly has a solid game underneath all of this like negativity that I'm like spewing out about the game. But as it stands right now, my biggest takeaway from the playtest isn't that the game is bad. It's more so that the game has a lot of learning that you have to go through. Casual players ain't gonna go through that, bruh. Anyway, I'm just ranting at this point. Maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe this is exactly what the target audience wants. Let me know what you think. Am I just an unk? Am I in the get good category? Did you play the playtest? Were you hooked? Did you have the the best experience ever playing this game? Let me know in the comments below. I'll check it out when early access drops or when the full release happens. I'll check it out because, I like anime shooters. So I'll definitely play it again, but let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace.